U-rig pulling today. We're going to start off with our gear. For pulling U-rigs, you need a little bit of a stiffer, heavier rod because the U-rigs are heavy. You also might get lucky and double up on fish, so you need some pretty stout rods. This is a 7-foot heavy rod for lure weights, 7 to 8 ounces, 20 to 50 pound test line. So it's a heavy-duty saltwater boat rod. You want a pretty big reel, preferably a line counter, so it's easy to tell how far you have your rig out, and you can adjust it as needed very quickly. It needs to have a lot of capacity and a good drag. I use 50-pound test on my U-rig rods, primarily again in case you get a multiple fish hookup or when you invariably get hung in a tree. You want a big heavy-duty snap swivel so you can easily change your baits or take them off, store the rods. I think that's actually number 1 or 2. It's a pretty big snap swivel. An umbrella rig itself is basically a piece of lead with 2 metal arms going through it. Each metal arm has 4 attachment points. So you got a total of 8 teaser baits, so to say. Then you have one down the center, which is your main bait. Typically, you would always have your middle jig or bait longer and further back. That makes it look like a bait fish that's trailing the rest of the school. And stripers like to single out the weak bait because they're easier to catch. You can use various types of trailers, jigs, spoons, spinners. You can use all kinds of different baits on your umbrella rig. The most common is a bucktail jig. I like to have a little vibration and flash, so I tend to use ones with spinners built into them, horse heads, road runners. I don't think you can beat a 6-inch grub in chartreuse as your bait. I would say that's the one that's hit the most, although sometimes they will go for the white. The chartreuse far outperforms the white. Just snap it onto your rod, your snap swivel. You want to have your boat moving before you let it out. Typically about 3 miles an hour is a good key to getting it into the water without getting entangled. Is to use a kind of lay it in the water, so you want to kind of swing it back a little bit and just lay it into the water. And as you can see, it's running through, nothing's tangled, everything's good. When you're letting it out, you want to let it out in maybe 10 or 15-foot increments. Otherwise, it doesn't sink straight down to the bottom and into trees and so on and so forth. Rod holder, Driftmaster makes a very good heavy-duty rod holder. The reason you need a heavy-duty rod holder is because you will get a U-rig hung. If you don't get hung with your U-rig, typically you're not fishing it right. It's a pain, but if you're not getting hung, you're not fishing it right. We're going to be pulling points in about 20 to 25 foot of water. As you can see, this is the boat on the map on the GPS. We're going to try to follow between the 30 and the 50 foot contour because the lake is down. As you can see, there's a lot of bait in the area, and you just want to try to clip the points in the various shallow areas. When you're pulling the U-rig along, if all of a sudden the bottom comes up unexpectedly, that's when you want to give it gas to raise the U-rigs up in the water. Always be turning the boat. That makes the U-rigs go up and down on either side as the tension on the rods. As you turn to the right, your left rod will get a lot of tension on it. That will speed it up or rise it up in the water column, where the one on the inside of the turn will relieve pressure and sink down towards the bottom. And often that raising and lowering, jigging of the U-rig will trigger a bite.